Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Franz Tambunan from IPMI International Business School students, MBA class batch March 2022. Finally, we have finished the corporate finance class and I would like to make summary of what you have learned during about 8 weeks learning time. Teach and facilitating by a great lecturer, Professor Roy Sambel. In this video, I will sharing about corporate finance lesson using mind mapping methodology. The objective of corporate finance course is to give the students problem solving skills in finance from the point of view of management and investors. Now, let's talk about the first thing that we have learned about financial management. Financial management is about optimal orchestration of internal and external financial resources towards significant and sustainable value creation. Significant and sustainable value creation is to get profit maximization and wealth maximization. What to manage in financial management consists of 1. Capital structure, 2. Working capital management, 3. Asset structure, 4. Revenue management, 5. Cost management, 6. Cash flow management, and 7. Growth management. In this part, we learn about source of business value creation. Business value creation come from growth, return on invested capital, and cash flow. And then we learn about good corporate governance principle as follows. First, transparency. Second, accountability. Third, responsibility. Fourth, independency. And fifth, fairness, or we all know with tariff. And the other topic is about principal agent problem. It's about potential conflict between shareholder and management, such as conflict of interest, asymmetric information, and moral hazard. And solution can be taken must be a comprehensive solution. For example, right recruitment, induction, SOP, compensate and benefit, and doing the good corporate governance. And then we learn about McKinsey 4 cornerstones of corporate finance. Consists of 1. Core of value principle, 2. Expectation treadmill principle, 3. Conservation of value principle, and 4. Base owner principle. Professor Ramcharan teach us about 5 business essential. Consists of cash, profit margin, velocity, growth, and customer focus. We continue to the second part of the course, that is time value for money, which explain about the situation when $1 today is not the same thing as $1 for tomorrow. How we calculate the value of money in the future is called compounding, and how we calculate the present value or the future value is called discounting. In this part, we also learn about the rule of 72, meaning how long does it take to double the money by given the fixed annual of interest. We continue to the third part of the course, that is capital budgeting. The concept of capital budgeting are as follows. 1. Estimate expected future cash flow. 2. Evaluate the project based on the capital budgeting evaluation criteria. 3. Decide whether project is good or bad. 2 or more projects can be 1. Mutually exclusive. We may choose only one. And then independent. We may choose all good projects. Next part, we learn about 3 types of cash flow. 1. Initial outlay. 2. Operating cash flow. and 3. Terminal cash flow. Other capital budgeting methods are as the following. First, net present value. Net present value will be accepted if the net present value bigger than 0. Second, profitability index. It will be accepted if the profitability index bigger than 1. And the last, internal rate of return. It will be accepted if IRR bigger than required rate of return. And then we go to the fourth part of the course, that is analysis of securities. In this part, we learn about investment analysis instrument. First, fundamental analysis. It is related to domestic and global economic analysis. Second, industry analysis and company analysis. And this analysis to help us to take decision based on recommendation as follows. If the in-string value bigger than market price, the recommendation is buy. If in-string value less than market price, the recommendation is sell. And if the in-string value equal with market price, the recommendation is hold. And then we learn about technical analysis. In this technical analysis, finding repeated patterns in the price graph, for example, momentum versus reversal. Second, about the trend, uptrend and downtrend. Third, about support and resistance. Fourth, about moving average. And then we learn about financial analysis, including insight. First, profitability. It is learn about return of asset, return on equity. And second, liquidity. It is about current ratio, quick ratio. Third, it is about equity, about total asset turnover and fixed asset turnover. Fourth, leverage. It is about debt to asset ratio and debt to equity ratio. And fifth, market ratio. It is about dividend yield and price to earning ratio. In this part session, we also learn how to check a company in health or not healthy condition. Healthy or not healthy condition, we can know from indicators like 1. Natural level. Example, if the current ratio bigger than 1. Second, quality of number. Third, historical trend. There is a getting better or worse. Fourth, industry benchmark, above or below average. And fifth, the composition using DuPont analysis. And then we learn about ratio analysis, represent an attempt to standardize financial information in order to facilitate meaningful comparison over time between firms. Consists of first, liquidity ratio. Second, efficiency ratio. Third, leverage ratio. Fourth, profitability ratio. And fifth, DuPont system. And now we go to the fifth part of the course, that is capital structure. In this capital structure, we learn about structuring corporate structure. Consists of 1. Capital structure. 2. Working capital management. 3. Asset structure. 4. Revenue management. 5. Cost management. 6. Cash flow management. 7. Growth management. And 8. Risk management. And then we learn about financial distress. Financial distress is a condition in which a company or individual cannot generate sufficient revenue or income, making it unable to meet or pay its financial obligation. In this topic, we learn about integral financial distress and financial distress cycle. In this part, we also learn about BCG product portfolio metrics. BCG product portfolio metric consists of 4 metrics. One is STAR, meaning the product in condition high market growth and high market share. 2. K-scope, the meaning the product in low market growth and high market share. 3. Question mark, meaning the product in condition of high market growth and low market share. And the last one is DOGS, meaning the product in condition of low market growth and low market share. In this part, we also learn about a leverage buyout or LBO. LBO is the acquisition of another company using a significant amount of borrow money, bonds or loan to meet the cost of acquisition. In this case, we learn about LBO between RJR Nabisco and KKR. The process is as follows. First, KKR present the plan to RJR Nabisco. They can buy 106 per share instead of current price 60 per share. With conditional, KKR will take over the management. 2. KKR buy some share from public market. 3. KKR propose to buy the share with 106 price per share from another shareholder. 4. Management issue the debt to pay the cost of acquisition. The source of value creation from LBO such as first, tax shield. Second, optimum equity to optimum debt. Third, reduction of agency cost of too much free cash flow and push the management to work harder. Fourth, reduction of conglomeration discount by sell the business one by one. The potential conflict of interest during the LBO process. For example, existing bondholder versus the existing shareholder, and then management group versus the shareholder. And then we learn about capital structure theory. In this part, we learn about Modigliani and Miller theory. It is with tax deductibility of interest payments, the optimal capital structure is 100% debt. And then we learn about trade-off theory. Firm must trade off this benefit against the increased financial risk associated with higher debt level. The 6th chapter from this course is about fraud risk management. First part of this chapter is about financial shenanigans, meaning action or mission designed to hide or distort the real financial performance or financial condition of a company. There are 7 financial shenanigans commonly happen by this scenario. 1. Recording revenue too soon. 2. Recording bogus revenue. 3. Boosting income with one-time gains. 4. Shifting current expenses to a later or earlier period. 5. Failing to disclose all liabilities. 6. Shifting current income to a later period. 7. Shifting future expenses into the current period. There are 10 clues to detect shenanigans. 1. Dishonest management. 2. Inadequate control environment. 3. Changes in auditor outside legal counsel or CFO. 4. Changing in accounting principle or estimate. 5. Large deficit of CFFO relative to net income. 6. Substantial disparity between sales and receivable growth. 7. Substantial disparity between sales and inventory growth. 8. Large increase or decrease in gross margin. 9. Recording revenue when risk remain with seller. 10. Presence of commitments and contingencies. Occupational fraud and abuse can happen through 1. Corruption, for example, conflict of interest, bribery, and illegal gratuity. 2. Asset misappropriation, for example, cash, inventory, and all other assets. 3. Fraudulent statements, for example, financial and non-financial statements. Fraud can come because of 1. Perceived opportunity, 2. Rationalization, 3. Perceived pressure. And then there are several fraud prevention that we can do. For example, 1. Build employee ethic. 2. Make the SOP. 3. Make a training. 4. Protective security. 5. Create the whistleblower mechanism. And 6. Give the good incentive to the employee. And at the end of this chapter, we making a movie review from movie Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps, starred by Michael Douglas and Shia LaBeouf. We find and learn about financial fraud, about money laundering, and financial fraud and influence market with false information. Next chapter is about dividend policy. In this session, the highlight is why public companies have to pay dividend regularly. There are reasons such as 1. A personal tax, different treatment between majority and minority. 2. A principal agent cost. And 3. By paying dividend consistently, showing cash in the financial. Finally, we have ended the mind mapping corporate financial topic. I would like to say thank you for our lecturer, Professor Roy Sembel, for teaching us with your knowledge and experiences. And for those who watch this video, I hope you enjoy and learn something from this video. Thank you.